Airfix Club Red Box Edition 2026. So the box is the standard Airfix Club one. There is no design changes from the previous years. On the back side there are information about the Airfix socials and their website that you can visit, and it's a top opening flip box, so let's open that. And inside are the contents. First of all, this year's model, the limited edition Flygvapnet 100, so that should be the Swedish Air Force 100 years of its celebration. And let's put that aside, and inside is the rest of the goodies, so let's get them all outside. Close the box. So first off, there's the welcome to the Airfix Club note. So there's no personal address in there, so you're a dear Airfix Club member, so your name is not put there. So it's a template they put in all of them. It's an A4 format, and basically they inform the new club member that they're welcome to the club and the community of passionate model enthusiasts, and this membership marks the beginning of the exciting journey filled with exclusive benefits and special club member offers to enhance your model building experience. So they're also listing the content of this box. Like I said, first is the models, then you get the stickers, flying hours, passport, A4 poster, keyring, new design pin badge, and the new thing in this one is the door hanger. And they also inform that as a member you have 10% discount off on all products. And you also have the additional benefits, about which I will talk in a moment. But let's see the rest of the contents. So here are the stickers. You get 2 of them, so they're cut out in a circle, so you can peel them off. Just like that. And yeah, it's gloss paper, and I didn't check the information on the back side. Is fasten paper. So what I want to say, I don't know if they're waterproof, so if you can put them on your car or your bike or whatever you use outdoors, but for the inside they're more than enough. Next one is the flying passport. So this is for all those flying hours you see on Airfix boxes. So basically what you can do is fill out your passport with flying hours tokens, and in the end, depending on how much you acquired, you get a free kit with it. You just pay for the postage, and yeah, if you're outside of the UK, you basically have to contact them to see the delivery fees for that free kit. But this is only good for the folks that regularly buy Airfix kits. Otherwise you will need years to fill that out. Basically when you buy those small kits you get 1 flying hour, and yeah, depending on that, this is what you get. So basically you have to buy 16 small kits to get 1 small kit, or combine with others. which means if you get 3 times that amount, you get 3 kits with 1 passport. So it depends how much you collect that. Next one is the A4 poster of this year's topic. So the Swedish Air Force 100 years anniversary. So they are both included as models. And I think the design of the poster is rather nice. You can buy an A4 frame. They're usually cheap and quite available in almost every bigger store. And on the back side there's nothing. The only shame with this, it's on a nice glossy paper, but it's on a flimsy paper. It's not like a cardstock or anything, so it's quite fragile if you want to keep it outside of the frame and already nicked in the transportation, but nothing serious. Next one is my most interesting thing in this box, the keyring. You know, those remove before flight things you see on airplanes. They're quite a nice gimmick. So basically what you get is a Swedish Air Force 100 in Swedish, and on the back Airfix assembly required. And I really like the design logic of Airfix, that they do all their instructions and boxes and everything. If you hold it like that and flip it on the side, you're basically on the same level. You don't need to flip it to read it, it's there. So quite nice. And a new thing for this year is this door hanger. I think they got the idea from Heller. So it's bigger than Heller one, about maybe 3 centimeters, and in width and maybe length they're about the same. But they're not cut, so they're for, I don't know the name of those, I will say English standard doorknobs. I guess also Americans use those. So on one side it says "Do not disturb, modeling in progress, Airfix," and they also say "in support of Models for Heroes." That's a organization that it's in the UK, and as far as I know they support their veterans in order to get them to build models and don't think about the stuff they have to go through. That's also a thing. You can send them the flying hours like a donation. And on the other side it says "Welcome, let's talk modeling." So they quite did the same thing Heller did, like on one side you don't want to be disturbed, and the other side "Welcome, come in." So depends also on your mood. The thing is with this design, also with the Heller one, it's quite smaller here, but on the German doors you cannot quite hang it that easy. You need to fold it, so yeah, there's that. But yeah, depends on your door design. And the last thing is the club animal pin. They're made out of metal, and I think since last year, by demand, they also add the year of the time you're a member of. So that's nice. So you can brag about it. So put it on your jacket. Have this year, last year, the year before. Before that, they only had only the Airfix Club logo, and every year was the same. So I think this is quite a nice addition to this year's pin. And yeah, like I said, I think they started doing last year. And on the other side, they also did a Airfix logo. And the only thing I don't like with these metal pins is this clip. So they're quite notorious that they come off. It's not something Airfix did on purpose. It's By standard, you see you have those two pointy, how do you say, studs that go into the jacket or wherever you put it on a cloth, so that the logo does not rotate. But the thing with those things here is they're quite notorious that they come off if you don't put them at the right angle. So if it rotates, it can come off easily, and on the other side it cannot come off. You need to push it here and then it goes off. But like I said, if you like put it on a backpack or something, it gets twisted and you can lose your pin. You can do that better if you buy an additional stuff made out of rubber and you put it in here and it stays forever. So that's a tip from me. So that's it for the goodies inside the box. This is the model, or better said, two models are inside. One is the Havilland SK11A, or better known as DH.82 Tiger moth, and the other one is the SAAB 37 Viggen. So this one is from the year 1935 and this one from the year 2000. And yeah, nice addition of the Swedish flag. On the side of the box, only the schemes, which are also shown in the front, so nothing particular there. On the bottom side, there's a SAAB logo, and yeah, decals as always made by Cartograph. And on the sides, it's the usual from Airfix boxes, but what you won't find on the Airfix Club box is the flying hours. So there is that, no flying hours on the club boxes, and it's a rather tight fit with the rest. So let's crack that open. And yeah, on the inside, quite a surprise. This is the Tiger moths in yellow plastic and the Viggen in red. And inside there are the instructions. So nothing particular about the Swedish use of the Tiger moth shown here, but they talk about additional information. But let's see, do they mention the Viggen somewhere? So yeah, here are also the decals, which are quite nice, of course, made by Cartograph. So I assume those are instrument panels for the Tiger moth. Those are walkways on the wings, and the black and white roundels are for the Viggen. This is for the tail markings, and the ghost one is for the Viggen and the numbers, and I think the logos also, and of course the show must go on. So in the instructions, they only mention the Tiger moth, but let's see how it goes. So it's the usual instructions, nothing special about them, like in the previous tooling of the Tiger moth, everything is the same. There's nothing particular for this Swedish version. I know about the tail. Yeah, that's a military tail. There is also a civil version of it. I don't know for what it is, but I think it's like an additional aerodynamic stuff for flat spins, but that's as far as I remember why was it there in the additional version for the civilian one, but this is a military one, so standard tail. And yeah, finished airplane, and there's also instruction to rig it. So it's when it comes to this, it's quite a complex build, but with easy line and super glue it can be done quite easily. It just needs a little bit of practice. And yeah, here is the painting scheme for the Tiger moth. So I think that's why they did the plastic in color, so that you only have to use the red paint here to do it. But yeah, you can also paint the whole thing as is. You just need to prime it in like light gray. That's it. And they tell here only 6 colors are needed here for this painting scheme, and of course those callouts are Umbral ones. And in the continuation of the instructions, so here's the end of the Tiger moth. Here's the SAAB Viggen, and there's also a little bit of information about the aircraft itself in Swedish Air Force service. And there are only 2 pages left because this is an old tooling, I think from the 70s. And it's done in just 7 steps. I don't see a call out for nose weight here, but whenever you do a tricycle airplane, and 99% of jets are tricycle airplanes, you have to add weight, otherwise it's a tail sitter. So don't forget to do that. And here's quite a loadout. And this is the painting scheme for the Viggen. And here is where the controversy starts with this year's Airfix Club Red Box edition. So first off, this is a prototype of the Viggen, so it's not the operational tooling of it. You can recognize that, but by having the flat back, the operational one has a hump here, has few additional antennas, and the wing has a dog tooth. The so-called dog tooth means the leading edge protrudes here a bit to trap air, so it doesn't flow off the wing to go back. But I won't talk about it much because I'm no expert on aerodynamics. Also, the thing on the prototype, the angle of the canards, it's a little bit upwards, I think about 20 degrees, but that depends on the version of the prototype. The second controversy regarding that is the missing fuel tank. So this is quite a slap in the face for me, because for this scheme it's always with this fuel tank, and the iconic roundel of the Swedish Air Force is on the back of that fuel tank, and you can see what they wrote here: centerline tank not included. If you wish to download files to 3D print a tank, please visit the members area of your Airfix Club. So not only that they provided the tooling for a prototype airplane, they also did nothing about that tank. Having a 3D print included would be nice. There's a much better version if you want to do this particular. The last Viggen in operation, the show must go on, special hobby, has a quite nice tooling for it. I think previously the company that tooled it, it's named Terrangus, I think. They're from Sweden, meaning they know their stuff, and that tooling is pretty correct for this particular scheme. But what I think that it's maybe better in this box are the cartograph decals. Special hobby decals can be hit and miss in opacity, so maybe your ghosts will come off like a little bit pinkish because of the red background, but I'll have to see how it goes with this one also. The best would be to have masks cut out, so the design is not that complicated for this mascot, so I think it should be easily achieved on a Tamiya tape to be transferred with copy transfer, or I don't know, maybe freehanded. So yeah, that's also an option. So enough about the instructions. Let's see the kits themselves. So let's check the Tiger moth first. So 1 sprue, 2 sprues, 3 sprues, and this can also be counted as a 4th sprue, the transparencies. So, standard new tool, Tiger moth. I cannot remember the year when Airfix tooled this one. I'd say 2016, 15. But it's a nice tooling, so you can build quite a nice Tiger moth out of it. What's not nice about it is the yellow plastic, and as you can see, the camera cannot pick up any details. Also, I'm having troubles picking them out with my eyeballs, so this will be quite frustrating for most of the folks. So what we have here is the lower wing, landing gear, the doors, the tires, instrument panels. I think those are control sticks, and 2 pilots, and here we have only 1 seat. Let's see where the next one is. So here are parts of the fuselage, left and right, the tail, wing struts. I think those should be the part of the cowling. Here are some more parts for the cockpit, and this should be the 2nd seat. And there are some details. It's quite hard to pick them up, but the structure is there. So what I want to say, this is quite a nice tooling. Shame that is in yellow and the other one is in red, but I think they just wanted to be a remnant of the Matchbox kits, which used to have multicolor plastic, but they had per kit like 2 to 3 different plastics, so colors of the plastic. So this should be like yellow, the other one red, and one white. That would be okay, so if they wanted to go that way. But yeah, even this is interesting, especially for the young ones. How they will welcome it, not being able to see all the details, I don't know. But maybe it's easier for the beginners, like I mentioned in the schemes, to just paint the red details here, so you don't have to paint the yellow. And I think that was their idea, because most modelers will say yellow is the trickiest one to paint. Spoiler, it isn't. It just needs good preparation. So in order to achieve a vivid yellow, you would just need a pinkish primer, so you can do it like in light gray or white, and use some mix of white and a little bit like a drop of red, so that just be slightly pinkish, not a vivid pink, because then it will come orangey. So only slightly pinkish, and when you spray the yellow over, it would be great. There are also modern paints like AK Real Color range. They have quite nice yellow paints in their range. They're quite good in covering, so you basically can do them on a gray primer, and they will come out vivid. So it's just a choose of paints, and you have to experiment with that. But for the beginners, I think it's quite nice. When it comes to painting, for assembling, I don't know how much, but yeah, that's up to them. So yeah, on this last sprue we have the upper wing, the exhaust, the front of the cowling, the tail, and I assume those are struts for the tail, or maybe additional to hold the middle of the wing. And yeah, additional struts and a prop. And for the clear parts, they only have 2 small windshields, so quite detailed for how small they are. They're like maybe 6-7 millimeters wide. And yeah, with this one, extra care is needed to cut them out from the trees. So yeah, but no scratches, and that's thanks to this additional bag that's now standard in every kit. Then let's have a look at the Viggen. So what do we have here? Clear parts. One sprue, 2 sprues, 3 sprues, 4 sprues. So that's quite a lot of plastic, because it's a bigger airplane. It's quite a Cold War icon. So it's the first jet. You see those intakes. The engine could squeeze itself and have a back thrust, meaning it could go in reverse by itself. So quite an interesting plane. But let's take a look at the sprues. So first one will be the armament, and you see the sprues were dimensioned for a bigger box, but they're cut in halves. But anyway, also on the red, the camera cannot pick up that much details. It's better than looking at yellow, but still not as quite as good as gray plastic. Quite some flash, but not on the parts themselves, rather and in the corners of the sprue. And yeah, that's, I think, the pylons, rockets, tanks. This is the nose cone. And one more thing that the camera cannot pick up here quite easily, maybe on this part. It's a raise detail tool, so quite 70s. So here is the second sprue. Here are the wheels, landing gear, additional winglets for the armament, and fuel tanks. Here's the pilot. It always amazes me how those old toolkits have such details in their pilots, but the rest of the kit is detail lacking. So here are the parts for the inlets. This should be engine, no details there. And here is that part, that cone, when it's closed. So basically it's on this side, this is the front of the plane. The exhaust blasts in this cone, and it's pointing the exhaust through those holes in the fuselage, and thus could the airplane go backwards. And the seat looks more like I don't know, those nuclear silos seats for the commanders. Not an aircraft seat, but it is a relic of the 70s and much of the 80s. Only I think in the 90s have also the Western modeling company started to do more details in the cockpit. The Japanese did it also much more before that. So here is one of the bigger sprues, the undersides of the wings. So here is the landing gear base, so pretty shallow. I think if you want to detail, you have to cut it out. And also raise details, so it needs rescribing. There's a small air brake here. And here is the fuselage, also raise details, and like I said, those are the holes that pointed the air to go backwards. So I mean pointed to the front of the airplane so that it could go backward, and which was pretty good strategy, because they in Scandinavian countries they had this strategic doctrine where they use part of the highways as landing strips. So if you have a plane that can maneuver itself on the airstrip, doesn't need additional vehicle to do so, it's quite time saving when you only have minutes to rearm and refuel and get back in the air to fight the, like Reagan said, the evil empire. But yeah, gladly nothing hot came out of that Cold War. So this was quite a nice gimmick, and also Tornado use the same technique. So those are the only two fighter jets that I know that can go backwards on their own power. But yeah, this is the right side fuselage. Like I said, the camera cannot pick up the details because of the plastic color, and no details on the inside also. So if you want to detail this kit, you have to scratch build a lot, rescribe it, put your own rivets if you want, and a lot of work is needed to make this prototype tooling into a serial one. Like I said, it needs a little hump here on the back, and also the so-called dog tooth on the leading edge. But yeah, here are the top wings. At least the tooling is crisp. I think for every vintage kit Airfix does, they redo their tooling, meaning they refine it. It's quite a delicate process, I assume. But in the end, there is no flashing, no missing details concerning the original tooling, like when it came 50 years ago. But I don't see any information on the spruce regarding the year. Maybe it was written here, I don't know. It's all like it was erased, I don't know. But anyway, that's it for the plastic. Nothing particular here. Like I said, frustrating find in the box. And here are the clear parts. At least they look nice. I don't see any scratches, any spidering, so at least that's good. Yeah, maybe here on the camera there is some spidering and scratches, and now I see that, but I think it's minor, and with some polishing it can be done to look nice. And I think at least with the vintage series, it's good that Airfix redoes those toolings, they revisit them. So let's put everything back inside, and let's talk about the membership. So the thing with the Airfix Club membership is, if you are in the UK, I think you have to pay £35, if I recall correctly, and you get the red box shipped to you. Shipping is included in the price, and your Airfix Club membership for 1 year is also included. Also, during that year you have a lot of benefits online, meaning you can visit that mentioned membership area where you can download that 3D file for the tank. Also, there is a forum, there's an Airfix Club magazine. I think it comes out like quarterly, meaning every 3 months or maybe 3 times a year. I'm not sure about that. And you also get an Airfix Club calendar to put on your wall. So that's it for the benefits, and by that for the UK members you get a physical copy of your magazines, of your calendar, and I think there should be something else, like some discounts for the Airfix World magazine, or maybe only for the books by Key Publishing, about 10%. You of course get the 10% for every purchase at the airfix.com shop, and that's quite nice for the UK members. But if you are rest of the world, there it gets a little bit tricky. So I will take my case in comparison. So I'm rest of the world, I'm not in the UK. I'm in Germany, and I had first to pay £15 to become an Airfix Club member. Only then you get access to the membership area where you can buy the beautiful red box, and that box, what I presented to you here, costs £25, and you can immediately use your 10% for the red box. That comes to £22.5, so that is £37.5 just to get to order the red box, plus shipping is for Germany. I don't know what they're doing with their prices. I am a club member since 2023. It wasn't that scary, so to say, but now the price for shipping for this red box only costs €30. So that's about, I don't know how much it comes, that £37.5, I think around 44 euros plus 30, you come to about 74, so 74, let's say exact €74 just to be a club member and to get this red box, to have those beautiful kits inside and goodies. You get the 10% when you order from Airfix, but like I said, shipping costs are monstrous. For the rest of the world, the magazine comes digitally, calendar as a wallpaper every month comes digitally, and that's it. Flying hours, I don't know how much it's a benefit for you, because like I said, the shipping is like 30 euros, and those 10% don't get you much, because those are RRP prices, so recommended retail prices, aka full price. So yeah, if I don't know, the Tiger moth costs let's say £10, it's like 12-13 euros, and if you apply those 10%, that's like I don't know, 1.2 euros less, so it maybe comes to 10 euros plus shipping. So what I want to say, it's better to buy Airfix locally from your importer if you're rest of the world. It doesn't yeah, I lost my words how frustrated I'm because of those high costs, but yeah, it doesn't pay out to buy directly from Airfix regarding their kits because of high shipping costs, and that's, mind you, to Germany, which is like about I don't know, let's say 500 kilometers, but UK is now outside of the European Union. I can only imagine the costs like to Brazil or Australia or Japan or the USA, and yeah. If you want desperately to get this kit, this is the way. It will cost you an arm and a leg, but it's a beautiful box, lots of goodies inside, and I think once per year it doesn't hurt that much. How much it pays out for you, that's for you to decide. For me, it was like an interesting buy. I like flashy kits that are colorful, and this year's edition is like that. So I think as long as Airfix is doing such interesting kits, I am in for it. Benefits are so being a club member outside of the UK, but yeah, a nice edition, a pricey edition, let's say so. A controversial edition because of the old tooling. They only mention it now on their social media and description. And like I said, it wouldn't be such a controversy if they have done it correctly, meaning that they provided maybe also plus like additionally the decals for the prototype. So then I would say, yeah, good. If I'm up to build that incorrect version of the last flight of the Viggen, then I'll do it. If not, I'll do some scratch building to bring it up to date, or I won't do any of that and I will directly build the prototype. Have like lots of fun, especially for older modelers that were kids in the 70s and 80s when the Viggen was actual back then. I think that's quite interesting for that group, because it's like a trip down memory lane, and nostalgia always sells. And yeah, it wouldn't be such a hurt if Airfix included that one. So that's a big minus on their side. But yeah, it's you are deciding with your wallet what you want to do here. But anyway, I hope they at least do something about that in the future so that they don't have such decisions. But yeah, what I will do, I will build the Tiger moth as is, and I will buy myself the special hobby edition of the last flight of Viggen, the show must go on. They have quite a nice boxing. I will of course use the decals of this box because cartograph is great. And yeah, about the plastic in this kit, I would look into it if I can find some decals for the prototype, or if I should design my own and print them. Yeah, anyway. If you want to have the correct show must go on, you have to buy an additional special hobby. So that's a total, about that kit is about 20 euros, and shipping, let's say 5 euros. So yeah, you come about around 100 euros if you're in Germany and want to do everything included in this box correctly. That's it from me. Until the next one. Bye.